Hey guys, are you ready to kill chaos?
Okay.
Oh,
Why not? Remember, we started very deep and very hard, so...
I remember this game from E3. Didn't give me the best first impression, but hey, maybe this demo will help improve things.
So Shira, what do you think of the cover art?
Edgy.
Yes.
Bleeding edgy.
This is Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. A new project helmed by Nomura and Nojima as a, quote-unquote, as the trailer puts it, a bold new vision for Final Fantasy.
Wait, hold on. Do we know for sure if Nomura is one of the ones helming this? I thought he was...
It said in the trailer. The trailer credited him as character designer and creative producer.
Oh, so this is gonna be a fun time.
And Nojima, the writer of Final Fantasy VII Remake, is also writing it.
That's also the thing, Shiroi. One of the producers is instead one of the people who helmed the Dissidia games. So there's a lot of speculation is also tied to those.
So Teo, what do you think of Amano's new logo?
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's a spin-off that actually has it is already a plus. So
Definitely. All right. So, Stranger of Paradise, I'm just going to call it Final Fantasy Origin. Final Fantasy Origin was developed by Team Ninja, specifically the Neo branch of of Team Ninja, basically. And the attempt is to try to create a more easy version of what you would typically find in a Souls-like game, basically. Because this game actually has an easy mode, unlike typical Souls-like games. So here's a tutorial. Press R3 to lock on. There you go. There's the goblin here. What do you think of the goblin?
I can't see much considering all the grain field. Sorry.
No worry, you'll be able to see better later on when we're not in the wheat field. All right, so you can also press. Keep in mind, I'm actually customized the controls to what I prefer because the controls that you're seeing are not the default controls because you can actually completely customize the controls, like literally all buttons. So I customized the circle, evade to circle because that's how I prefer.
I also love the how simplistic the instruction way. It's not like defeat of a goblin. No, defeat goblin.
You also have Act into Final Fantasy 1. You also have a job system. Except you can change it like in free with its own mini Crysterium thingy. You have swordsman, you have mage, and you have lancer. However, Teo, you can unlock in the skill tree 3 more jobs, which we'll show later.
Okay.
And here you go.
That's nice.
We can also have combo abilities. Basically, you have specific abilities that cost MP, and you can apply them to which specific phase of the combo you want them to be on. Like, for example, do you want spin slash to be square R2 or just square R2? You decide, basically. So the game allows you to customize your combos. And there's the equipment. You can even equip pants. There you go, Shirai. This is a game where we can literally use pants.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've seen that.
It's not just that; it's it's being so stylized like the Souls games, or in this case, Neo. Of course, pieces of armor reflect on your actual character.
Okay, so here's Soul Burst. Break enemies by depleting the yellow gauge above their heads. You approach broken enemies and press X to finish them with a Soul Burst. The Soul Burst is my favorite mechanic, and you're going to see why. Slaying enemies with a Soul Burst will help you recover your MP and raise your max MP. Effective use of Soul Burst will ensure your action abilities are ready when you need them. So basically, if you always take advantage of Soul Bursts because they give you back MP. So it's always a good idea to use them. Action abilities. Press R2 to expend MP and use an action ability to deal heavy HP and break damage to your foe. There are 2 types of action abilities. R2 activates your job's unique action, and pressing R2 during a normal attack triggers the combo ability. So basically, you can it works for both. Like it works normal on its own, but it also works as an extra combo move that you can have. All right, so let's try it. Let's defeat let's break the goblin and then Soul Burst them.
Why do these instructions hate articles?
And there you go.
Hello and welcome to Mortal Kombat Final Fantasy Edition.
That's right. That's Soul Burst, everybody. We literally crush the goblin's head with our foot and make it explode. Soul Shield.
Are we quite sure Ed Boon had nothing to do with this game?
Hold X to deplete your break edge and adopt the Soul Shield stance. This stance can be extended by keeping X held down. Blocking an attack in this stance will trigger Soul Shield, staggering the surrounding enemies and dealing break damage. It will also restore MP and increase your max MP, so it's a good idea to practice timing your defenses. Press square after a successful block to take a big step forward. So basically, defending the game will reward you for being good with the timing on the shield. There you go. Come on, attack! Attack! There you go. The goblin, this particular goblin attacks very slowly, so whatever. There you go. See,
I think you're a bit behind, Pedro.
I am.
Yeah, we're on instant abilities right now.
I'm at 503. 4.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Sorry.
How the hell did that happen? I'm at 5.
It's easily remedied. Just press the L button and you'll go forward 10 seconds.
I'm at 520. Go ahead.
I've already passed it. Sorry.
Jesus.
Too fast for you.
535.
Okay. Alright. And... go.
Thank you. Don't worry. That was
still defeat the goblins without articles. Because
it seems like a relatively simple game.
When you have one or more full MP gauges, press L2 plus circle to consume 1 MP gauge and activate Lightbringer, which is basically Berserk mode. While Lightbringer is active, you deal increased break damage to enemies and their max break gauge is reduced when you hit them. When they are reduced to 0 HP, you will be granted effects equal to a soul burst. So basically, Lightbringer is also very good to use, especially when you're surrounded by enemies, as the game will even point out on its own. Activating Lightbringer changes the break gauge into a special gauge that depletes over time or when hit. Lightbringer ends when the gauge is fully depleted. Jack cannot be broken while Lightbringer is active, making it particularly useful when the break gauge is nearly empty.
That's right, our fierce protagonist is named Jack.
Alright, so that's the Lightbringer tutorial, and we're done with the tutorial after this, so...
So it's pretty basic. Beat them hard and get rewarded by beating them harder.
What's more,
interestingly enough, I noticed that the protagonist here seems to be dressed a lot more fantastically than he was in the first
I guess it's tied to the job system.
it's actually alternate. No, it's actually alternate outfits too.
To me, it comes off as Final Fantasy 15 meets Mortal Kombat.
It's more so the fact that every time you equip a new outfit, Jova, it actually changes how he physically looks as the outfit itself. So you can equip different outfits.
Compared to traditional Souls games and Neo to an extent, it seems to be a bit more actionized, and I think it lacks the stamina bar.
Yeah. This is a more casual take on the Souls aesthetic too, basically.
Alright. I guess it's compensated with the different abilities of the job system.
And as we all know, casual means it's alienating everyone else.
We're not doing that. Let's go kill some chaos, please.
Yes. Alright, here we go. So here's the Chaos Shrine from the first Final Fantasy game.
I get the idea this might be a in medias res thing. We start like this and we trace how these three stooges got here.
Not that this demo shows to, I can tell you that.
Also, some trees
are
design.
Opening line.
Sorry, go on. Yes, Pedro?
There you go.
What?
The line.
Oh, he already said it.
Okay, sorry. Let me get back on it.
But no, like trivia about the design of these three. Someone actually did bother to check. They seem to be relatively similar to the 3 extra Warrior of Lights found in a particular Yoshitaka Mano called the Demon in the Cloud.
Alright, I'm at 945, just say when.
Sorry?
945.
Okay, it's a bit ahead. But anyway, it's an artwork that is an abstraction of the 4 Warriors of Light defeating Garland, which has this more menacing Oni-like appearance. And 3 of those warriors have traits that are similar to these 3 in particular, which fuels the speculation about it, about what is really going on here. It's pretty much clear that they're building some kind of mystery, because even from the descriptions and everything, they make sure to tell that nothing is exactly as it may seem like.
I'm imagining now the original Final Fantasy 1 music playing over this.
Actually, I think there are some remixes implemented here.
Yeah, they are.
Alright, almost there.
Alright, go ahead.
And go.
Thank you. Alright, Shirai, take a look at this. There you go. The actual bleeding edge.
Meh.
There you go. Basically, when you kill enemies, their blood splurts on your weapons. Basically.
You might want to clean that. I don't know.
Nah, cleaning is for pussy.
Cleaning is for pussy, Shirai.
Yeah, remember, this is a 2020 What year was this game supposed to come out?
Next year,
2022.
This is a 2022 game. It looks like the people who made it can't escape the year 2004.
Yeah, that's exactly what I kind of love this game, because this game is partying like we're still in 2004. This game is so akin to the edgelord stuff that you would see in that time period, and ironically, that's kind of what makes it a bit of a fresh air in today's market, to me at least.
That's the thing, though. In terms of from what I've been seeing in regards to reactions, people have been very, very split on this game.
Yeah, they have.
It's kind of inevitable.
I can definitely see why. I mean, I guess the game's trying to go for a bit more of a tongue-in-cheek thing, though I'll admit, something like this probably is not what fans were exactly asking or expecting for. Now, that being said, doesn't automatically mean it's bad. And from what I've seen, the customization can actually be pretty good for Jack here and there. I will attribute a lot of that to being the first impressions given by the trailer, which were all over the place here. Like,
I can tell.
Now that is
obviously, Jova, the tone and overall story is of course the mileage may vary, but I can tell you that the gameplay is actually really good. The gameplay is very fun, actually.
You crossed with an axe.
That being said, Pedro,
it's an halberd in that case here, right?
That being said, Pedro, Square is definitely a company where people most often play the games for the story and characters.
Oh, definitely.
More than the gameplay. Oh, that's not to say that the gameplay doesn't matter. It absolutely does. But, Square themselves have always strived to be recognized more for the story and whatnot.
That's fine by me, because I actually kind of love the edgelord vibe that this game has, so fine by me.
It depends on the... It depends on the franchise. Like, for example, I don't expect a gripping story from Championship Manager.
Alright, so, hold on. So we have to take down these plants, because these plants, believe it or not, they spit out enemies. So when you see one, it's a good idea to kill it fast before it spits out more. And when you do soul burst it, this happens.
Yeah, it's all about crystallizing things. I remember that.
This is basically
Don't you see, Tio, by turning things into crystal, we reduce the gore when we blow it up.
This is basically how it works. We beat the crap out of an enemy, then we crystallize it, and then we just see it explode. That's this game.
Consider also the following, Jova. If this was like a Metroid Prime Federation 4 situation, I would a bit more critical of this. But thankfully, we are getting so many other different games, mainline or not.
Yeah,
meaning that
same.
If you're not particularly keen on this one, you can easily just completely ignore.
The reason I'm more tolerant to this is because this is a spin-off.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes
and go.
Yeah, this is a spin-off, so I'm totally okay with it trying something wildly different.
Like if this was 16, I think more people would be like,
no, 16 is coming. Then we also have 7 remake and potentially
the expansions for 14 as well. Because again, I can't stress enough how the plot of 14 is good.
So there's nothing. So honestly, I actually kind of appreciate this game for definitely trying something wildly different as a spin-off, taking advantage of the fact that it's a spin-off. Go ahead, Jova.
Me personally, I'm fine with this game. I do wonder if maybe I do think some people are sort of left a bit split and mixed or confused because of this game apparently being a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1. Like, I guess to some people it's like, well, this certain stuff does clash with the aesthetics or ideals of Final Fantasy 1. And again, the fact that it's 3 warriors right now instead of 4 is like...
Partner, sorry, Jova.
What the... Okay, that was weird.
Keep in mind, this is still in development game, and we do get a survey after it, so... Go ahead.
I do wonder if maybe reception would have overall been better if this game was just more blatantly a parody of the Final Fantasy series as opposed to being...
Well, that's the thing, Jova.
From this apparent reimagining of Final Fantasy 1.
Well, I think, Jova, it's kind of like both. Like, it seems to be, from also description, and presentation alone, they've kept no secret in telling that, sure, it's technically a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1, but like it's also suggested before, it might not be as obvious as it seems, and there's something else that's making things iffy.
Let me just
compared
quickly
to what we should
explain.
expect.
Let me just quickly explain how the mage works. The mage job works like this, Teo. You hold R2, and while you're holding R2, a wheel of spells shows up, and you press the analog stick to which spell you want to do, and the more you hold, the more you can change between the levels of spells. Fire, Fire, Firaga. So basically...
Oh, wow.
So basically,
It's kind of like the Wizard's Companion in Ni no Kuni 2.
Basically, yeah. Basically, if you want to cast Firaga, obviously you need more
Always
time.
gotta love being able to switch.
Yeah. Oh, look, a bomb. Okay, so obviously we need water. Oh, sorry. Forgot to lock on.
Switch jobs on the fly.
Yeah, you can have a maximum of 2 jobs equipped on yourself at once. There you go. And now Soul Burst.
Wait,
So in
looks like
terms
you had
of,
3 there.
So in terms of the people who
I'm sorry, that never gets old to me. I love making my enemies explode.
I like the sound it makes.
Anyway,
I know, right? Go ahead,
So in
Ritz.
terms of the composers of this game, the composers, there's 3 of them, so far at least anyway. Naoshi Mizuta, Hidenori Iwazaki, and Ryo Yamazaki.
Yeah.
One of them.
Oh, yeah, Yamazaki, the composer of Balan Wonderworld. There you go.
One of them also is
Beautiful.
known for having composed stuff for Square since the PS1 days, like Parasite Eve 2.
I don't know, Dej. I can already tell you that this game is a lot more fun to
Hi.
play than Balan Wonderworld. I can tell you that.
Alright,
I'm
so
talking about the music. But yeah.
Yes.
Naoshi Mizuta.
I'll be honest,
did-
I only remember 4 songs from Balan Wonderworld.
Yes,
so- So Naoshi Mizuta is mostly well known for his music on Final Fantasy XI, but also did stuff for Mega Man and Base, Street Fighter Alpha, and Parasite Eve 2, among other things. The second one, Hidenori Iwazaki, did music for the Front Mission games.
Yeah, another franchise from Square.
And Ryo Yamazaki, he's done stuff for a lot of Final Fantasy works over the years. Well, some anyway.
Okay.
Again, mainly front mission.
Do we
Basically,
actually know
Jova-
instead... sorry, go on.
Basically, Jova, I'll tell you the exact same thing Shiroi said during our Final Fantasy VIII playthrough. You see, Jova, this is why I can get mad at it. It's fun. It's fun to burst things up.
I also noticed they brought back the changeable environment affected by magic from 15. But instead, do we actually know instead who voices Jack and the other 2 companions?
Well, the demo doesn't tell us. I haven't actually searched. Maybe
I can tell from rewatching the trailer and everything, I don't recognize who he's supposed to be in terms of voice actor.
I'll get it up. Anyway, so Jack is voiced by Makia Nelvin.
Never heard of that.
Ash is voiced by Mark Neely. Jed is voiced by Alejandro Saab.
And the character we'll meet at the end is with Christopher Sabat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I only know about Sabat.
Another thing that you'll notice too is that the mage role actually has a small little sword, so you can still do melee attacks, but obviously they're not as effective as
not
other.
as much, obviously.
As for the Lancer, of course, he's the Dragoon. However, let me put it this way: what you have right now are the kind of like in Final Fantasy, where you have junior versions of the jobs, and then you get the proper version.
It's kind of like 14, actually. 14 makes you do kind of like that, starting with the simpler version of the actual job, and when you reach like level 50, you can actually start the proper quest that transforms you into the iconic jobs.
Well, technically, that started with Final Fantasy 3 in a way. So
true, but the way it seems to be structured here seems very similar to that.
Yes. So basically, that's basically what this is, Shiroi. This game is partying like we're still in 2004, basically.
But yeah, like I said, I forgot which specific of a producer is, but again, he worked on the DCA games. He's still working with on Opera Omnia these days, which is the one that I'm also playing it, the mobile one. He also did some interviews. He also expressed his desire to potentially put Jack in that game in the future, which, considering how the bulk of that particular DCA game is the interaction between the characters, I don't even want to imagine.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Characters interacting with these guys.
Yeah, no. well, watching Zidane, imagine too, a conversation between Zidane and Jack.
It just doesn't work.
But that's the whole beauty of it too. You get that great contrast.
I know.
The sword. One more thing. The sword that Pedro had earlier. It kind of reminds me of Zeke's sword from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
Yes, Jova.
So how much of Jack's personality and story do we get in this demo?
This demo is not really story driven. There's very few cutscenes. Most of the time it's just about them coming here so they can kill Chaos. Okay.
I'm just wondering if we know enough about Jack's character to be able to gauge.
It's all
stuff
explained
like
in
that,
the
yes?
interviews instead, in the few that we know. It's
Allow me.
Nomura. Sorry, go on.
Allow me. This game at the end has a survey which I already took. So you can give your feedback on the overall gameplay and stuff. So this gameplay is mostly to showcase the gameplay. The story is not really at the front and center in this demo.
What were you saying, Tio, about what Nomura said during the interviews?
Just from the briefings that we know is the fact that Jack's personality seems to be very single-minded anyway. He seems to be literally they're doubling down on the fact that he just really wants to kill Chaos. It's kind of like the Doom Marine. Doesn't really give a shit, he just wants to kill fucking Chaos.
Let me explain the Lancer job.
Sorry, go on.
The Lancer job is you hold R2, and then you throw your fucking spear like a harpoon.
It's the Gungnir from Kate.
If you want to have the jump tail, you have to unlock the Dragoon job first.
Mm-hmm. Which leads me to a good point. Nomura did also say in interviews that he was planning on making a game like this, not necessarily this one in particular, but a game like this, ever since he finished working on this Duodecim. Let's just say that the way the Dissidia timeline goes, I did mention this briefly in our Final Fantasy 1 run, but essentially the Dissidia games do count kind of as a sequel to that game. So a lot of fan speculation, particularly people who played all the Dissidia games like me are having, is that this is like a ripple effect that is connected to those. And it might be an occasion where we actually get to see either one of two occasions. One, how the loop actually started of the first Final Fantasy game. Or two, an actual straight-up isekai story where these three stooges are actually drafted into the world without memories and just the knowledge that they have to kill Chaos, but there might be like a twist where they're not really the hero prophesized. The thing that I mentioned also when we see these in the trailer, the fact that this is just 3, but the Warriors of Light are always iconically 4, strictly, makes me believe something like that. Again, there's something more that we just don't know about what exactly is going on. So it seems I get the idea that this game is building up a mystery in terms of just the lores and potentially not much of a personality of the characters.
Is this going to turn out to be any? Is this going to turn out to be an isekai?
Maybe.
We don't know, Dwibs.
I only speculated.
Your theory does raise a bit of a point or an idea I've had to. It's like, well, one thing Square can be on and off again is how they advertise their games. And I don't just mean typical advertisement, but like how much their marketing actually gives the proper idea for a game. You're like, okay, every one of their mothers pretty much pointed it out, but 2020, between animes, video games, or TV shows and whatnot, that was apparently the year for stuff marketing itself as a remake, only to turn out to be a sequel in reality. The 7 remake being one of those things. Like,
wait, what was the other one?
He's talking about Igurashi, the new Igurashi anime. I can tell you this, Jova, Doom Eternal did not turn out to be like that.
Well, it's not like Doom Eternal was being marketed
That's
as
the thing,
a
Jova.
remake.
That's because it was Doom 2016 who did that first.
Yes, but we were talking about the year 2020.
Exactly. The point.
Yeah, regardless. I do wonder. Okay, if they are hiding something like, amazing like that with this game, that's fine. It's just that I do wonder, did they need to go all the way to suggest that this was a reimagining or whatever, a Final Fantasy one? Like, okay, sometimes
it might
companies...
be still both, Jova. Like,
well, okay. hold on. Let me explain. Sometimes I feel like certain companies go a little too complex with trying to hide this or that. It's like, ooh, yes, look at how amazing this plot twist was. You thought it was going to be this, but not. Only they go to a point where, again, you kind of risk pissing your fan base off. Now, granted, obviously sometimes that's inevitable, but like I said, there are some cases where it feels like companies are trying to play 4D chess when they really do not need to. And I do wonder if that may be the case with this game because, well, as we pointed out, the reception to this game from both its first impression at E3 and the demo has been pretty split, to say the least. Now, granted, there is a lot to suggest that this may not be what's really going on, but as far as fans have to go off of, what they see is what they get, essentially. So, yeah, if there is some secret message or some secret thing that will actually make this more enjoyable, that's fine. But at the same time, you can't blame fans for judging stuff as they are given to them, well, because, again, it is the responsibility of marketing to interest people in buying a product still, which is where I feel Square can sometimes get a bit iffy on where they draw the lines here and there. And the opposite also applies. Sometimes they get people hooked onto what they think is going to be this, only to have it blatantly not be that. And again,
no. With Square is that they'll be vague when it first comes out, and then near release they'll spoil everything.
well, Deads, they didn't exactly spoil the big.
3.
I'm personally
Yes. Kingdom Hearts 3. But hey, with 7 Remake, they kept the fact that it's technically a sequel under wraps, which may have led
thanks
to
for the
some
spoilers.
Yes,
which actually that connects me to.
That's not an excuse.
personally, I don't mind either way.
But anyway, back to you saying Dutch. I mean, Pedro or Tio.
No, it's Pedro go first.
Personally, I don't mind it because, again, like I said, like one of the big reasons why I'm personally really digging this game is because we have so much nostalgia pandering in media nowadays, specifically 80s and 90s nostalgia stuff. And this is the first time I've ever seen a piece of media that's trying to cater specifically to the early 2000s.
It just shows how much older we're
yeah, have you not listened to Infinite's theme from Sonic Forces?
No, I mean the entire game doing it.
Level.
I mean the entire.
The character in general was early 2000s.
Okay, Jova, the entire game. That's what we mean. Like,
so to be fair, the game was basically making fun of early 2000s Sonic OCs that you saw on the internet.
And it did have musical themed levels that actually had lyrics in them, like
they
Sonic
said it was
from the
specifically
2000s.
catered to Japanese fans who were fans of Sonic Adventure 2.
It's because the characters. It's because the characters constantly talk constantly they aim to kill chaos. Like for example, later there's gonna be a line where the darkness is thick. I can feel it, and so
that was in the trailer too.
Oh no, they're honestly, I think we're seeing a lot more 6th Gen S revival stuff, like the Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania, the World Ends with Neo World Ends with You, which which feels like a homage to the PS2 era.
Also,
well, that's what the original kind of was already. But go ahead, Jova.
If he says the darkness is thick, then he must have played Final Fantasy III because yes, the darkness is thick in that game.
Well, that is kind of the plot of the first and third Final Fantasy game, that we need to banish the darkness and bring back the light and blah blah blah. So that is kind of how it is. To be fair,
no matter how hot darkness is.
So that's but that's just the thing. Like again, I love how the weapons get bloody. I love the tryhard.
Hold on. Is that the weapon getting bloody? Because it seems like it's red by default. Actually.
No, it is red by default, but you can tell when it gets blood splatter on it. It's a technique that companies that managed to start introducing with the 7th Gen with games like God of War 3.
Combining it with that awesome God of War-esque music that we just heard in the PS5 XMB, like I just love the vibe, because it's such a breath of fresh air from everything else that's out there right now.
But let me tell instead something that instead is coming from the feedback of my country, not personally from me exactly, but I've seen a couple of people from my country who normally follow Final Fantasy 2.
Ontario. Advanced jobs. You have unlocked an advanced job. You can select it from the battle settings menu. Advanced jobs can use more specialized job abilities and a wider array of weaponry. Find a job and equipment combination that suits your playstyle. So there you go. I have just unlocked the Dragoon job, meaning now I can do the classic Dragoon jump from the older games. And it works exactly like you'd expect to. So yeah, Dragoon. Right there. Let's equip it. Go ahead, Theo. Yes.
Sure. The thing that I heard, it's not, again, something I subscribe personally, but a lot of people have told that they're not super impressed by the overall, not art style, but the graphical compartment. I don't think it's that of a problem. What I do believe instead, is what I pondered at the very least, if it's a game that will work just better on the Xbox Series S and X and PS5 rather than on PS4 and Xbox One.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, Tio. When they've judged the graphical fidelity stuff, have they? I mean, they must have been playing it on the PS5 because that's where it's available.
No, that's the thing, Jova. It was like in that kind of mocking tone. It's like, oh, what is this? A PS3 game or something? Because
that's another thing I've noticed. I've noticed at least one or two Twitter posts that are comparing the graphics of this game negatively to 13.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I just don't see that. Sorry.
I saw someone say that Metroid Dread looks like an indie game, so people are just stupid.
Yeah, the problem is you get way too many people who think unless you see every bead of sweat coming out of a character's face, then it's crap, apparently.
Also,
to be fair, some of this is to blame on companies like Sony who constantly prattled on about how, the graphics will be absolutely stellar here and there.
It's a cycle.
And then when they aren't, people are kind of annoyed by that. Don't get me wrong. It's not,
Okay, I'll let you go. I was gonna say, like, before we started recording, I saw a 4chan post that was complaining about SMT5, saying it's too anime and Shin Megami Tensei was nothing like that.
Dad, ignore those kind of things, please.
It's just hilarious.
Hold on. So, Teo, question. Okay, and I might as well ask that to Jova as well at the same time. I hear you, Jova. I hear you. But at the same time, in Final Fantasy 1, can you fucking pick up a bomb and make it explode with your bare hands? I don't think so, mister.
Anyway, what were you going to say earlier, Jova?
In regards to...
Yeah, in regards to people being rather over-expectant of graphics in games.
Like I said, this all trails back to how Sony were hyping stuff up. This also applies to stuff like people getting mad about cross-gen stuff, because Sony were talking about how, with this gen, we'll take advantage of it, and once you know, Sony were the first ones to go, but we still want to milk money out of last gen, so let's go cross-gen. Me, personally, I'm fine with stuff like cross-gen. I'm fine with games not looking uber, super duper,
same.
ultra mega 4K 1000 greater whatnot. As long as they look good enough to be a good 720p 60 frames per second, I feel like you can do plenty graphically here and there, to the point where, honestly, if we had to, I could have waited even more for, 9th gen. That being said...
sorry.
Oh, well, okay. That being said, I get why people are pissed, because here was Sony talking up a big game about how next gen's going to be great, and then they proceed not to take advantage of it until Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, whereas most of the other stuff is being held back by last gen. And
I'll argue Returnal did that too.
I don't mind there being cross-gen. Mind you, I don't mind there being cross-gen. In fact, I like that they're not leaving PS4 in the dust. I just don't think that Sony should have blabbed their gums about how, they're totally going to do this, only to totally not.
Mm-hmm. All right. There you go. Chaos says the biggest offer himself, guys, so...
Stay focused.
You were saying, Shiroi?
I remember people tried to claim Nintendo are archaic in the visual department by trying to compare Last of Us Part 2 to Animal Crossing.
No crunch.
Wow.
Sure,
Yeah.
just ignore those people.
When people try to compare graphics, what they're really talking about is art styles. You can
Yeah.
see it very plainly. Like it's
People don't seem to know the difference, to be honest. But so yeah, the idea is that this is the Chaos Shrine.
Go on.
You might remember, Shiroi, how at the beginning of Final Fantasy 1 in our playthrough, we went into a shrine, so we defeated Garland, who later on went on to become Chaos and as the final boss in Final Fantasy 1. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now we're doing that opening part of Final Fantasy 1. We're going to the Chaos Shrine to find somebody that Princess Sarah sent us here to kill. You probably already know who it is since we already did Final Fantasy 1.
Again,
That's basically
That and you saw the trailer at E3.
Again,
That
there is
too,
already
yeah.
a twist to this. Remember, the first mission in the first game is the fact that Garland has kidnapped Sarah and you have to rescue her.
But in
But
here,
it used to be just a bounty hunting mission.
Mhm.
But
Okay, plus the others or no?
I'm sorry, what? No,
Plus
the game works like Kingdom Hearts. You play as Jack, and the other characters are played by the AI.
I honestly, when I heard that Koei Tecmo was making this, I was
Team
expecting-
Ninja specifically. Yes.
Yeah, Team Ninja. I was expecting something in the long of no. This looks more like. This feels completely different, which isn't a bad thing. I was just like, oh, okay.
seems to be more of a hybrid between Neo and Ninja Gaiden, which are the two things Team Ninja is most responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a Dark Souls or like that, or a Souls-like game.
Sure, this game actually does have difficulty settings, so no, yes. Anyway, we're gonna unlock my favorite job, Black Mage. There you go.
You can now
Mage.
rock
Hey,
on
that's
your
my
electric
job.
guitar with this.
Hey, Black Mage, that's my job in 14.
Well, Jova, it wouldn't be quite. Jova, I mean, if you're gonna go edge, you gotta have the guitar. I mean, come on.
and you gotta have it be bleeding apparently.
Wait. Was I actually right? And they actually give you an electric guitar as a black mage in this game?
no,
Because if that's
not
the
that.
case, I will
but-
take back every bad thing I've said about this.
Well, sorry, Jova, but I cannot confirm that. Sorry, but I was just saying. I was talking about the music because the music also screams early 2000s. With that, that particular.
Wake me up and say, I can't wake up.
Yeah, basically.
The reason why I cringed over the Chocobo when the Chocobo film tried to do that in 13.2 is because it really does feel like out of place.
Yeah.
And a joke where there's no actual setup for it. If it instead was used in a game like this, I would actually be more okay with it.
Same, because this game actually fully, from the very get-go, in its entire identity, established itself as a very edgy 2004-esque game. Okay, fine. At least you're committing to it. Let's go.
It's sincere with what it is instead of being, hey, wasn't this ridiculous?
No. I can tell you that there's not a single hint of irony in this game's dialogue. This game is fully, completely assured of itself. I can tell you that.
Okay. Like I said, if this game is trying to go for a sort of tongue-in-cheek mood, then I could actually totally dig this. But we haven't gotten enough of the story's feel yet for me to judge, I feel.
Now in the Tower of Fate. And look at that, the skeletons.
Of course.
Alright, get ready to you.
Mm-hmm.
And go.
Thank you.
I think the thing that confuses me is, where the heck did an idea like this, of all things, come from?
Well, like Teo just said, Nomura had an idea for something like this. Yeah, like Teo said.
I can think of it. I can think of it actually.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Was,
It's okay, Teo. You can just get up from that.
Yes, of course. You see, Shirai, if you get stabbed with a fucking sword and bleed, it's okay. Just get right the back up, walk that shit off.
Walk it off.
Anyway, you're
too angry to die.
Go ahead, Rips. Go ahead.
Anyway, here's my idea how this game came to be. The Mora, while one day really drunk at a pub near Square's offices, was probably saying next to a colleague of his, hey, I got an idea. How about we take Final Fantasy 1 and turn it into fucking Bleeding Edge.
Oh boy, okay, Jova, Dibs.
I just have to keep living out of spite.
This is an insult to Chaos. Bleeding Edge looks awful.
Chaos,
Hey, Dibs.
chaos, I have to do it, leave me alone.
Dibs. So what exactly is that beverage? Because if it really is the case, I need to start serving it in my restaurant right now.
Leroy.
Yes?
Chaos. I can do anything.
Not just that.
Also,
Oh, by the way, actually, it's interesting to say that, Joa, because one of the attacks that these skeletons have is called Bloody Claws.
another thing I noticed, when they actually parry an attack, they seem to have kind of a sort of a void shield similar to the dark raids from the first Dark Souls.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? I'm warming up to this game a bit more. I think what I just want to see more is, again, more of if this is sort of a tongue-in-cheek sort of venture here, because if this is a tongue-in-cheek venture, this could actually be kind of genius.
Think of it like this, Jova. I get the idea that this game, we're just seeing, again, I guess, what is supposed to be like the first dungeon. Probably in the finished game, we get something akin to, say, cities with people you have to talk with, so who knows?
To give an alternative to this theory, here's what I think happened, Jova. Now, Nomura was mulling over himself, and he's all like, you know what I miss? Early 2000s Edge. I'm gonna make an edgy Final Fantasy game like that. There you go.
Don't forget the theory that I proposed towards the end of the 7 remake. This, for all we know, this might be just Nomura trying to sabotage in the franchise and inadvertently making something that people enjoy.
Well, I guess. Alright, so let's go. Leech Bat. Okay, the Leech Bats can be freaking annoying because they throw in sonars that throw you away, and so basically trying to fight Bloody Claws. There you go. See, I told you.
I think I got another idea actually.
What?
This was the kind of stuff Nomura really wanted to do in Kingdom Hearts, but Disney kept saying no. So when Square told him to make a game like this, he took the opportunity and threw in everything really, really dark he wanted to do in that series in here.
Well, actually, Versus 13 was originally kind of gonna be like that. So yeah.
Remember, Sora originally was supposed to have a fucking chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then Disney and Square said no.
To look like a furry, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Sora was apparently supposed to be the love child between a lady and a lion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It was a missed opportunity to bring back that design.
I also see
the Monsters Inc. world.
I also see that part of at least the equipment seems to be following the rules of colored letters depending on the rarity of equipment that a lot of games are having these days.
Honestly, Dad, Kingdom Hearts 3's middle name might as well be Missed Potential. We didn't get a frying pan keyblade.
That is correct, yes. I will agree with that. But anyway, alright, now we got the Kia.
We got a sword you can put blood on.
I will actually mark down Kingdom Hearts 3 for no frying pans.
Alright.
Oh, snap,
there'll be a mod for it. It's on Epic Game Store.
Okay, so the Griffin actually has armor.
Griffin.
Yes, because Jova, because
it's an armored Griffin.
Well,
it's even worse.
Hey, oh my God, just like in Shovel Knight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, no. It really we now have the key of fate. So now we can open the gate to the final boss. But first, let's make this thing explode. I'm sorry. That never gets old. I never get tired of seeing it.
It's even better because with enemies like this, you can actually rip part of them off early on in the fight.
What's great?
They get even weaker.
You know what makes it great?
The music is so high energy.
I know, right? You know what makes it? No, what makes it great is that, like I've said, the soul burst is not just for show. Like I said, if you do it well, it gives you back MP, it increases your max MP, so that's beneficial. So the more edge, the better.
Where's my energy drink?
Yes.
We need that monster energy.
So, Shiro, a question I have to ask: is this what you were expecting when you first heard about Bleeding Edge before we saw the trailer?
Okay, to be fair, I don't remember hearing much about the game before actually the trailer.
Well, I should explain.
I forgot.
Well, I should explain. Basically, everybody, before the Microsoft's Bleeding Edge was first revealed to be an Overwatch clone, we only knew the name of it. And Shiroi was very hyped to see, maybe it's going to be one of those edgelord, super dark type of things.
Or as you compared it to maybe Sonic the Swordsman.
Yeah.
Some pretty that Ninja Theory had in their past, so it wouldn't be too far-fetched.
So, Shiroi, would you say this is more worthy of the name?
Yes, well, see, what happened is Square heard my cries of disappointment, and this is made specifically for me.
There you go.
Well,
the darkness is so thick, I can't taste.
To be fair, Team Ninja are a phenomenally better developer than Ninja Fear, so I'm not completely surprised.
I keep confusing them.
I do like
Ninja in one place and in another, depending on the names.
I'll just put it like this.
To be fair, though, Tio, it is easy to get them mixed up. Here's the thing, devs. Team Ninja are the good devs. Ninja Fury are the ones that suck.
Okay, to be fair, I will give it this. I do like the story of Hellblade, but the gameplay leaves a lot to be desired.
I also do believe Enslaved Odyssey to the West is its own merit.
Pedro. That is pretty much Ninja Fury in a nutshell. Here
we go.
Huh?
Here we go.
Yeah?
It's time
to
to
have the trailer moment.
Alright, here we go.
Alright.
Boy, what's this?
Just listen.
Garland.
Just listen, Dips. That's a thing, Joe, but he doesn't even...
The music.
Hold on.
Oh, so thank you for showing Garland's crotch. Oh my god. Oh, now it has a filter on
So
it.
is this supposed to be the Black Mage?
You haven't answered the question, Jack.
No. Okay, basically, Deds, this is Garland, the villain of
Oh,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy
We're about to
1.
get Princess Sarah's narration in a moment.
He always wore such splendid armor, with a helmet that was terrifying to behold.
It's Garland.
No. I am to become chaos.
Spoilers, huh?
You're gonna be a water god?
Yes, why not? And now fight me, IRL.
I feel like this
Notice his name. Notice his name on the top. Chaos question mark. Right there on the top. Chaos question mark. So, so is this chaos or not?
Well, yes. You know, maybe we should actually be certain and rip open the armor off and see on the inside.
So who voices Princess
Christopher
Sarah? Is
Sabat.
it still Princess
Sarah.
Sarah? Is it still Brooke Lyons?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like the one from World of Final Fantasy, I can tell you that. Maybe it's a different one. So.
Also, contributing to the fuel of the theories of the fans, people speculate that the narration... Hold on. With the shit.
You're probably...
I'm gonna throw a wild theory. Jack is gonna become Chaos.
It might be, but not just that, Danger. People are theorizing that with that narration, Sarah was actually describing the OG, the Amano artwork of Warrior of Light, which does fit kind of like the description that she has given, and these people are just mistaken.
What if the
It
idea
sounded
is...
like he was narrating from the future or something, like telling the story.
You know what would totally be a Square thing? Is if it turns out these guys are secretly the protagonists of Final Fantasy 17 or whatnot, and they just happen to end up here because of time travel.
Java, you're thinking too simple. No, don't you see?
Being called Chaos to come into it.
Don't you see, Java? This is secretly one of the video games that, similar to Verum Rex, are played in the Kingdom Hearts universe.
Quadratum.
You know, yeah, I could see them doing that.
Alright, so...
what kind of game is Andy's mom letting him play?
Fuck.
Andy's mom barely looks at what Andy got and his toys in his room.
Andy's mom is kind of a really bad mom when you think about it. Yeah, yes. I mean, her child has toys that she's never seen or bought for him, and she doesn't even question it seems.
Well, to be fair, Pedro, that's only lore that we added on later.
Well,
wait, no.
No.
Talk about Toy Story 2.
This starts immediately with Toy Story 2. Or if you... Yes.
I mean, she's a better parental figure than Grandpa Joe in the first Wonka movie.
I thought you were gonna say
Hold on.
Grandpa Lou from
Shit.
Rugrats. I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, he sucks.
Okay. So yeah, Garland has his own. Chaos. Chaos has his own soul burst attacks. And one of his attacks is Chaos Bringer.
Chaos question.
All right, final soul burst. Soul burst.
And you
just
literally
like that.
punched
I was expecting.
Yeah, there you go. I literally punched Chaos.
This is just
Play the
getting more
victory
fun,
theme on
like-
guitar.
You see,
No, please, please.
again, Shirai put it best, Jova. See, Jova, this is why I can get mad at this game. It's fun. All right, and that was
Is that how the demo ends?
Oh,
Yes.
that's how they end it. Oh, good.
just abruptly.
He just
Okay.
punched.
And, well, all right. Now that
and
you've
that's how we
after
save
you've
the world.
there you go, right there. Square, fill out survey after playing. So now you can fill out a survey telling you what you thought of the. So there's various questions about the gameplay, every single aspect of the battles, and which jobs did you like more, whatever. Like so, basically, after you play the demo, you can basically they're taking the same thing that they did with the Bravely Default 2 demos. They're going to use the feedback from the survey to improve the game. Basically, I already took
I
mine.
do get the feeling now, having seen the demo, that there's definitely more at play than this just being a retread of Final Fantasy I's events. Granted, in the original Final Fantasy I, you do beat Garland the first time before, he turns out to be the true villain. But I do wonder if maybe, now that we've beaten him, it's going to turn out that he's just being possessed by this entity of chaos, and then the heroes have to go from Final Fantasy to Final Fantasy.
In general, Jova, also the dialogue seems to suggest that there is something that Garland knows more, but our protagonists don't, and they might have just accidentally fucked things up. Yeah, so...
Can I go first with my final thoughts?
Yes, go ahead, Wes. What do you think of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin Trial version?
Well, I gotta say, this game is really all we need are some traps, and then we'll finally have that Final Fantasy Saw crossover I always wanted.
There you go. See.
I mean, so far the signs are definitely there for at least a very fun game. There's not a whole lot of story that I can judge, because all we've got so far is chaos, 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 chaos. Punch, chaos.
Let it rain.
Yes.
Also, yeah. I mean, this game also does kind of toe the line between a Final Fantasy game with gore and a gory game with bits of Final Fantasy in it.
Yeah, I think
there is a difference.
I think Teo put it best in the chat. You can punch Garland in the face to death. 10 out of 10. Exactly. There you go.
And it is very intriguing at the very least, because if this is a retelling of Final Fantasy 1, then I'm okay with that, to be honest, considering Final Fantasy 1's story can best be summed up as an RPG story.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember a couple of things they said. For the time being, for an RPG story, it was impressive because the opening mission was the one that was used for standard D&D campaigns, and then it opens up with the super quest. Nowadays, it's much more, common and shallow, for lack of a better term, but it's important to view it for when it was made in its own time.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's been many years since then, so reimaginings of stuff to try and either take a new spin on it or expand on stuff, I can actually get behind. I'm just hoping that it has a good blend between being a Final Fantasy game and being a dark, edgy early 2000s gore fest, and not be like overtly a Saw video game with bits of Final Fantasy in it.
Here's hoping.
Alright, I'm done.
All right, Shiroi, what do you think of Okay, what do you think of this interesting proposal?
I mean, it looks like fun. I don't know if I'd actually pick it up. I mean, maybe because it has an easy mode. Remember, me and RPGs don't exactly go hand in hand. So, the fact that it has an easy mode is tempting. But this does look fun. Aside from any problems it may or may not have, I'd probably have to play it myself, but I don't think I can do that. So, yet. So, but no, this it seemed okay at first, but it just gets progressively more ridiculous. So this might even be worth picking up on that merit alone. I don't think, looking at it so far, I don't think it's going to be a so bad it's good thing. It feels like it's something that's going to be, maybe a little bit flawed, but actually still very much enjoyable. So we'll see. I do like where this is going, though, so there's that.
All right,
who's next?
Theo.
Sure. No, like I said, this is pure high octane in what I need. Some of the complaints that I had from the reveal trailer seems to be more mitigated, because in the trailer they did show just the vanilla costumes for Jack and the others, while here, thanks to the customization given to the armor, you are allowed to have much more expression of freedom. There's still a more lenience towards darker shaded colors, but there's clearly much more variety at hand, so I'm perfectly okay with this. It's just a shame that just the default outfit, the one that Jack is marketed with, is a bit bland, admittedly. Which will probably be what the character is represented in promotional material and eventual crossover appearances. Because yes, aside from Operamia, I want this guy to show up in the future somewhere else.
It's such a weird choice of outfit that they chose for him in that regard, because there's apparently a load of other ones that, honestly, I feel suit him a lot better anyway.
But still, the gameplay looks definitely fun. Okay, I didn't know how much more similar to, say, a Souls-like game is, but this definitely looks more actionized, regardless of the difficulty setting. It's more actionized, but a bit more fluid. It's not super high action compared to something like, say, Kingdom Hearts or Crisis Core. But it's not, it doesn't have the same particular rhythmical pace that the Final Fantasy VII Remake is. Again, it seems to be just its own middle ground kind of thing. So I'm fine with that. Like Jova said, we will need to know more about these charming fellows and what they exactly are up to, but I'm personally definitely on this. The thing that leaves me a bit perplexed, like I said, is if the PS4 and Xbox One version will manage to run decently. And I don't mean 60, I'm not fooling myself here. But if the 30 FPS on that will be consistent, or they will be, dipping, because a lot of cross-gen games, not necessarily now, but a lot of cross-gen games always have this kind of stigma that have the previous generation console version to be faulty, for lack of a better term, like Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, and the Tales of Zestiria. Their PS3 versions are completely terrible as a result. But we'll have to see in due time. I'm definitely keeping an eye out of this one.
So what you're telling me is that you're ready to face chaos, basically.
Oh, absolutely, and to exploit the memes out of it.
Definitely.
I'll go next.
I'm already doing that, but yes.
This demo definitely improved my outlook on the game, because, like I said, did not get a good first impression of it. And yeah, I do agree with you that if that's going to be his default outfit, that is one of the lamest choices for a default outfit they could have picked for Jack. Because, again, a lot of the other outfit possibilities seem more interesting. Like, literally every outfit I saw in this demo looks more interesting than the one in the main trailer we saw.
Maybe that's why, though, because it is the default, and then you can customize whatever the hell you want from there.
Yeah, not that
Phone
great.
agrees with me.
Not that great in the case for the default. That being said, this game definitely has more of a shot now by the looks of it. It does.
Would you say, Jova, that he packs more of a punch?
Then Babylon's Fall, yeah.
No. See, here's the thing. This game, at the very least, for better or worse, definitely has a personality of its own. Babylon's Fall just looks. I can't even tell what
like
the fuck
every other
that.
Platinum game.
I disagree.
Honestly,
I disagree.
not even
Wait, we're talking about the what they showed later. Oh yeah, it looks like a Randy Pitchford game, and I worked at Platinum Games.
Nah.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, no. The gameplay here definitely does seem like it could be interesting. I'm gonna wait to see more of a story here to see if this really interests me, because, again, if it's proper tongue-in-cheek fare, maybe this could work. I didn't find myself laughing as much at, the Edge stuff in there. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to get a throwback to that stuff, but I'm waiting to see how good the story actually is in that regard. And again, I do wonder if this may be a case of Square overcomplicating the advertising process, like wanting us to think, this is one thing, when in reality it's another, which, again, as we've seen with Square, that can very much backfire.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to condemn this game. It looks like it could be an interesting venture. I like the job system that was just shown here. And, yeah, it definitely looks like it has a fighting chance.
So basically, what you're saying is that you feel like it has the ability to punch people in the face, maybe.
This
Yeah.
game punched me in the face. 10 out of 10.
Yes, go ahead, Dej. What do you think?
It looks fun, but I feel like the character designs are not good. I'm sorry. Like,
They're not the
okay,
best.
wait. Let me put it like this. Because of what the game is connected to, the original Final Fantasy, it does feel extremely out of place and not in a good way. But thankfully, you can change costumes, so that's good.
Definitely.
Everything else, I love the aesthetic. I like the gameplay that I've seen. The story looks over the top and cheesy, so I'm sold.
Yeah. You done?
And the memes are hilarious.
Oh yeah. You done?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, it's just I am freaking sold already, because I absolutely really like the cheesy, over-the-top nature of this thing, because it just feels so. It feels like such a breath of fresh air to me, because it's just like you don't see this kind of thing around anymore. Not really. Not to this extent, at least. And like Deji said, I do appreciate the fact that this doesn't even feel like it's trying to be, completely like, oh, look at that. See, look how ridiculous this old 2004 stuff was. No. This game is truly immersing itself in it and completely trying to be exactly like those, not a parody of those, exactly like those. Maybe it might have some slight tongue-in-cheek undertones, who knows? But I do appreciate that so far it does seem like it's trying to genuinely be a sincere throwback rather than a parody. So, and the gameplay is actually really fun. The way they execute all the jobs in the gameplay engine is actually really fun and works really well. So yeah, just and again, like Theo said, you can punch chaos in the face. Can get
If he really is chaos.
well, yeah, chaos ? So who knows? Well, regardless, you can punch people in the face. That's basically my point. So
If you can't punch NPCs in the face, what's the point?
exactly. See, Deji gets me. So yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this turns out, because it's like I said, it's such a breath of fresh air from everything that's out there right now, and I appreciate it for it. Like it doesn't feel like a same old type of scenario. It feels like something that's genuinely trying to separate itself from the rest and just doing something of its own rather than something bland and generic that you see everywhere. So I definitely appreciate it for that. So yeah, that's it for me. And tune in for, I guess we'll have to see, maybe to comment on possibly if they make a second demo, or we'll maybe cover trailers or something. Who knows? Maybe if the next trailer is just as hilarious, we can cover that. Why not?
for the time being, by the time we're making this public, if you are a PS5 owner, you will still have around a week to actually try the demo of your own and fill in the survey if you want. Square did extend it a bit more, the expiration date, in order to compensate for the initial bugs that the demo offered. But like Pedro showed in the video, you also have until the 30th, the end of the month, in order to fill in the demo. Sorry, the survey. But that's pretty much it. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.